but that means your heart could literally stop. And so let me make this clear. Taking clenbuterol can cause you to have a fatal arrhythmia. Coach Greg, and in today's video, we're going over Rose Fit. Her actual name is Kim Miller. She has 180,000 followers on Instagram, and she's training for her IFBB Pro card in women's wellness. And she recently posted a video, My Steroid Cycle Exposed. She explains in detail exactly what she's taking in detail in order to tell you this is what it takes to be a women's wellness competitor.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a very real and honest conversation with you guys.
Automatically, if you listen to her, you notice the changes in her vocal cords. You can hear she sounds a little bit different. Also, you can see she does have some receding hair, and this is a direct side effect from using performance-enhancing drugs, namely steroids. But she has chosen this, and she loves the way that she looks. It's not for everyone. Not everyone likes a woman with this much muscle, but this is what it takes to be an IFBB Pro.
I'm sure some people are going to think that this is a lie. I'm sure some people are going to think that I'm lying and that I'm not giving you guys the full picture.
Full disclosure, I know this woman personally. I've met her several times, hung out with her. She's very open, honest, transparent, and I do believe 100% that she is not lying, she's not exaggerating. She's telling you exactly what she's doing, and so it allows the average viewer, both male and female, to get an understanding and appreciation for the amount of steroids females have to take to get a physique such as this. And so if you're thinking, oh, she probably just did 5 or 10 milligrams of Anavar, what is wrong? What are you even thinking? And to the opposite extent, if you think that she's on 500 milligrams of Tren, guys, it's somewhere in the middle.
And I'm going to be starting back at 16 weeks out, and I'm going to kind of just walk you through basically my cycle at each point of prep and where we've been adding things in and changing things.
If you followed her journey, perhaps you're already a follower. If not, I suggest you go and give her a follow. You'll see that she's currently peeled. I mean, she's just as lean or leaner than I was when I was competing in professional bodybuilding competitions. Her glutes have striations, she's got lines, details all over her back. She told me she took a DEXA scan expecting it to come out at 10% body fat, and it literally had her at 6.9. Now remember, DEXA scans are not 100% accurate in determining body fat percentages. It's mainly used for determining bone density, but it does give you an idea of just how shredded she actually is. My glutes and hamstrings are insane right now, under 6% body fat on my hips and glutes. Somehow slightly leaner than my abs and arms. I literally am just standing still and you can see them. It's wild, LOL. And so remember, she's doing this with the aid of performance enhancing drugs. It's not normal for a female to get to sub 10% body fat. Women essentially have 6 to 9% essential fats. And so if a woman gets too lean, she's most likely going to lose her period. It's called amenorrhea, and it's not healthy. And so if you're thinking, oh, I just want to maintain 10, 11, 12% body fat year round, I want to be shredded, your body isn't made for this. It's difficult for most men to be this lean.
Let's go all the way back to June. I believe it would have been June. So 16 weeks out, going into the prep, I wasn't taking anything besides GH and TB500 and BP157 peptides. And all of that was for the primary reason of healing my shoulder. For those of you that don't know, I tore my rotator cuff in February.
She's recovering from an injury. She's using TB500, BPC157. I do believe that BPC157, TB500 can in fact help people speed recovery from injuries. I have used that in the past. But one thing you need to be careful with growth hormone is that with overuse, repeated use, doing it for too long, especially, for example, if you have a family history of cancer, that it can make that more likely. And so if you have a history of cancer in your family, please don't use growth hormone. But another side effect is it can in fact change your bones. It's known as acromegaly or giganticism, which is literally your bone's getting bigger, oftentimes in the forehead, it could be in the jaw. And so if you're a female trying to remain feminine, you should be careful with growth hormone. And personally, when I hear people saying, hey, I'm on growth hormone, it's gonna allow me to eat a little bit more, it allows me to stay leaner year round, I'm thinking, there's so many things that are safer to use year round. Now, for example, if someone says, hey, I wanna be lean, I'm using growth hormone, I would immediately tell that person, are you sure you wouldn't prefer to use, for example, Ozempic or Tirzepatide? Not that those are 100% safe, but I think it's better to use something that directly affects your appetite to reduce the food noise, than to use growth hormone, which can in fact have serious side effects. Now, if you are interested, you can get Ozempic, Tirzepatide, GLPs, for example, at AlgoRx. Click the link in description, code Greg, 10% off.
At 16 weeks out is when I started Primo Ballin, and this was my first time ever doing injectable Primo.
Previous to this, she'd never used injectables, and oftentimes orals are a gateway to the injectables. Most women are not going to feel comfortable injecting. Oftentimes this applies to men as well. But what she says is that orals are not as effective, that they're harder on the liver. It is harder on the liver, but orals oftentimes can be more effective. They have a quicker onset of action, as in, if you take Anavar, within perhaps even hours, you can feel the difference. Injectable Primo, it could take days and or weeks to really notice a difference, but it is healthier on your liver, your kidneys for long-term use. And so when people inject steroids, for example, Primo or testosterone, whatever, they have much more stable blood levels. You don't feel it quite as much. In comparison, Anavar perhaps has a 10-hour half-life, onset of action within hours. You're gonna feel it right away. You take it perhaps a couple hours before the game, you go and train, and you really feel it working. Primo, you inject it, when you go to the gym, you don't really notice anything per se. It takes a lot longer to kick in. And so, anecdotally, anyone that uses oral steroids, for example, Anavar, in comparison to injectables, you're gonna feel it more during the orals, but it doesn't offer very stable blood levels unless you're taking it perhaps 2 or 3 times a day. In reality, injections are more anabolic because they're consistently helping you to build muscle, versus orals, you have a shorter window where you feel it more, but the overall anabolic response, the effect, it's not as consistent, and so in the long run, you will build less muscle by using orals than you will injectables.
So 16 weeks out, started the Primo Ballin injectable, and that was 30 milligrams 3 times a week.
Here's the thing, and this is what I don't like. The pressure to use steroids is so strong, you might be judging, you're thinking, well, why would she do this? Why doesn't she compete without it? When you want to be an IFBB pro, and you know that almost every single girl that you're competing against is using injectable Primo, do you not feel that they're going to have the pressure to do the exact same thing? I mean, can you really blame her? You're gonna go to a gunfight with a knife? It doesn't make sense. And so if she competed natural, she most likely would get last place. I'm not trying to be critical, I'm just being realistic. And so when you compete in bodybuilding, women's wellness, figure, or even in bikini, trust me, I've seen bikini girls using far more greater doses than this. Do not assume that these girls are natural. Just because they look pretty, just because they're hot, just because they have amazing bodies, doesn't mean they're not on performance-enhancing drugs. And in fact, they most likely are. What I would suggest if I were coaching a female is, I'm gonna convince them to do the lowest dose that makes them happy. Now, even if that dose is not enough to win the pro card, I'd rather them compete and get, for example, 4th place and save the growth for next year. You shouldn't try to make a lifetime worth of gains in 1 year. Now, I know there's a lot of pressure and you really want it really bad, but you have to think of your future. Rather than abusing steroids at high doses for 1 year, why not use the lowest dose possible and spread out those gains for 5 years? And what I personally did was I stayed natural till I was in my...
Stayed the same from the previous numbers. The plan at this point was 40 micrograms per day, and we added in Novadex just 10 milligrams each day.
Clearly, her estrogen is already low. Adding in Nova is going to increase her clotting risk, and so why are we adding in a drug to do something that your body doesn't need to do, which increases the danger to your heart? If her coach had her on test, which does convert to estrogen, and said, let's add in 10 milligrams of Nova, that would make sense. But notice she's not on test, and I do believe 100% she's being honest, and she's not omitting that she's taking testosterone. And so I simply don't believe that her coach knows what he's doing.
Honestly, I was getting really, really severe cramps in my side. I couldn't really bend over. If I like got down on my knees on the floor to like clean something, I would like severely cramp.
And so what she's describing is textbook signs of hypokalemia, which is very low potassium levels. And I hate to break it to you, but that means your heart could literally stop. And so let me make this clear. Taking clenbuterol can shift your potassium and cause you to have a fatal arrhythmia. And so let's not take Clen ever, full stop.
I was still on my feet, getting dehydrated, not having salt intake, and like it was like really affecting me.
And so she described she wasn't taking in enough sodium, but in reality it's not enough potassium. And so that Logan Paul's Prime drink that has way too much potassium and not enough sodium for rehydration, that would have actually been a benefit to her, because what she needed was potassium, not the sodium. This is why tesofensine, a greatly superior choice over using Clen. Now remember, if you're interested in having a coach, may as well plug myself, click the link in description and apply right now. And so imagine if Kim had Coach Greg telling her what to do. She wouldn't have had any of these difficulties. I can make your life better than last time. Algo RX sells 5-amino-1-MQ. This is going to supercharge your NAD levels. Your cardio is going to go through the roof. It's even more effective than GO2 Max. GO2 Max, amazing compound. You can get it at HDLT Supplements, code Greg 15% off. And this, of course, 100% safe. It's not of any risk, but 5-amino-1-MQ, well, it's a research peptide. I can't promise it's safe, but it's a heck of a lot safer than cardarine, which is GW501516. And so if you're doing that, click the link in the description, code Greg 10% off, Algo RX.
Then at 4 weeks out is when we got back on the Clen. Started taking 60 micrograms a day. So that's the most Clen I've ever taken, like ever in my life, 60 micrograms a day. Everything else stayed the same except the Anavar and the Nova both got brought up to 20 milligrams per day instead of 10.
And so we're now 4 weeks out, and guess what? The Anavar gets doubled, going from 10 to 20. That is a huge increase in risk. Of course, you're gonna feel it more. You're gonna have much more strength in the gym, greater pumps. But if you're taking 20 milligrams, please split it out into 2 doses. Taking 20 milligrams all at once, it is in fact a lot. It has a shorter half-life, and so you should be taking, for example, 10 milligrams twice a day, or even 6.66 milligrams 3 times per day. Nova is now increased to 20 milligrams. I mean, that's as much as I took. 20 milligrams of Nova is a lot, and for 4 weeks, for what? What exactly are we trying to do? She's not on testosterone. She has suppressed testosterone levels. At this point, show me the blood work. I'd be thinking, what exactly is going on inside your body?
That's where we're at now. We're actually pulling back a little bit on, it looks like, Clen.
And so thank God she's pulling back on the Clen, going from 60 milligrams down to 30. Hopefully she doesn't experience an arrhythmia, she doesn't have any problems, she can make it to the competition and win her IFBB Pro card.
And GH as well.
And so she's taking out the GH because it can in fact cause water retention. She's trying to be completely bone dry, shredded, peeled. And so if you're thinking, you know, wellness is for girls who want to look well, wellness is for women with a ton of muscle who are shredded. Personally,
Who fights it?
Well,
Is
it's
it
an act.
crazy people or what?
No, this is an act. It's a comedy act.
Oh, you don't actually let people.
No, we do not. No, we do not let people showing for the audience. See what I mean? Hold him back up. I got a couple of knuckle sandwiches already. Please take it over there for me, please.
Why should I?
Kangaroo hat.
This is what? This is color. Well, I guess you can assume the boxing kangaroo. Oh, wait a minute. All right, just a minute. Can we have an interview? Can you take him over there a minute, please? Well, this is Killer Willard, and this is my husband. It's a good thing I'm not fragile. Hold him, that's they calm down a little bit.
So
It's the headache.
Now, tell us about Willie.
You cannot import a endangered species. You cannot bring him into this country. He's warming up.
Who fights him?
Well,
Is
this is
it
it's
just
an
crazy,
act.
just crazy people or what?
No.
You
This is
don't-
an act. It's a comedy act.
Oh, you don't actually let people.
No, we do not. No, we do not let people challenge from the audience. See what I mean? Hold him back on me. I got a couple of knuckle sandwiches already. You take it over there, honey, please.
Why should I?
Kangaroo handling.
This is what? This is color. Well, I guess you can assume the boxing kangaroo. Whoop, wait a minute. All right, just a minute. Can we have an interview? Can you take him over there a minute, please?
Who fights him?
Well,
Is
this is
it
it's
just
an
crazy,
act.
just crazy people or what?
No.
You
This is
don't-
an act. It's a comedy act.
Oh, you don't actually let people.
No, we do not. No, we do not let people challenge from the audience. See what I mean? Hold him back on me. I got a couple of knuckle sandwiches already.
Oh, hey, Mark.
Hey, Lyle, what's going on, buddy?
Mark, get over here. Guys, this is my buddy Mark. He just transferred from Minnesota. I thought he could sit in on a few practices. I don't know, maybe join the group.
Maybe.
All right, guys, let's do Always Been My Girl again from the
Always
top.
Been My Girl. Okay.
And Mark, show us your stuff.
You got it.
All right, guys, ready? 1, 2. There goes the girl who owns my heart. I knew she was the one right from the start. Our love is here to stay each and every day. We know that we will never part. You gotta be kidding me. Mark was out of this world.
Gosh, okay, well, hey, it just came to me, so I just went with it.
Great, well, keep going with it. Guys, have a safe weekend, all right? See you on Monday.
Nice to meet you guys, man.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Isn't he the best?
Cool guys, great practice.
Oh, I'm gonna